Man, what's been going on this past week? This is not normal. This is not normal at all. You cannot tell me otherwise. Oh my god, what the hell? Hold on, let me try to fix that here on the side. As usual. There we go. Need to bring out my chat here. There we go. That's good, that's better. Man, oh man, what a disaster of a week. I don't think anybody was expecting anything like this to happen. And as per usual, things are only getting worse. Yay! Is that what happens when you have important people such as Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan passing away? That's not good. That's not good. I'm also seeing the usual suspects bringing up Ozzy Osbourne for the worst possible reasons. Oh my god. Of course, he was a racist. Uh, Look, let's be real. I truly have no idea about Ozzy's opinions of Palestine and Israel. He probably didn't know they were a thing, okay? That guy had a lot of things going on, if you know what I'm saying. So it's actually surprising he managed to reach 76. I guess we only have Keith Richards left. Interesting enough. I had some music rolling here for a little bit at least. As the volume seems a little bit loud. There we go. That guy's going to survive everybody else. That's insane. It's not the only thing that has been passing away, surprisingly enough. So let's start with one of the big topics for today. I need to... There we go. That's my browser. I've been doing stuff and... there's a lot of stuff going on here, you know? Nijisanji, no! Wait, hold up. Force of habit, what do you mean we showed you? What's going on here? Well, the company died. In what, 48 hours? Yeah, that's been quite crazy. So I have here, we should shut them down, CEO apologizes for mismanaging funds. And it's not a small thing, from what I've been saying. Issue CEO Justin DeGarro Ignacio released a statement on the group's official social media page, apologizing while at the same time claiming ignorance of the worst offenses. Sure thing, pal. Sure thing. Keep telling yourself that. His apology initially claims that the company was intending to fundraise in order to center their talent-first approach to vtubing, something they have eventually lived up to with allowing talents to keep their IPs. Okay, what a cesspit of hatred and lies. First of all, talent first, as we will see in a little bit, that's a lie. Well, we're not that kind of company. But you have to follow what we tell you, which is not good. And allowing talents to keep their IPs. But of course, because the talents own their own IPs, because most of them had their own IPs before joining the corporation. So, doing otherwise would be highway robbery. It's not the only case of highway robbery we have for today. So I guess that's not surprising. However, there is a revelation that money earmarked for charity has been taken for operational costs, and this should undermine the company's reputation. I think I mentioned numbers here. Maybe not. I have no idea. This is not free rail. As a result, almost every single talent has distanced themselves from the company, while also sharing stories about contractors not being paid or talents not being paid. Nobody was being paid. Not a single talent was being paid. Not a single artist was being paid. and some of these lacks of payment go back to 2023. Funny enough. We also have the case of Kaesung not being paid anything since September 2024, almost a year ago. So much for talent first. What about the money? What money? Where's my part? It sounds just like Mo, man. What the hell? Notably, our man who is the face of the company says hundreds of thousands have been taken from the Immune Deficiency Foundation by vtuber. Hundreds of thousands, meaning 500,000, by the way. I've seen many tweets claiming, I bet they donate that to the other IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, instead of the Immune Deficiency Foundation. That would be hilarious. I don't think that's the case. But that's a funny joke. Furthermore, in Asia's statement attempts to claim ignorance about the diverted charity funds, saying that he later learned the money was intended for a charitable initiative, creating the implication that the money had been taken without his knowledge or approval. Sure thing. Sure thing. Do you think I'm going to believe that one? And there's no way. So many clips, so many tweets, so many pictures of the guy, this gunrun fella, being like, oh wow, what a huge success for this charity. It was probably like, oh, 500,000? Mine. That's crazy. Yeah, be sure done for? Apparently so. I don't think they have any talents left, so yeah, shit's looking rough. Difficult to say whether or not that is true. Well, I do have a tweet for that, so it's fine. But fans are unhappy with the typical response from vtuber, and what happens to being attempt to avoid accountability. Also, is talking about the money that contractors and talents weren't paid. The charity funds were the largest issue, and they were far from the only issue at vtuber. Happens. If it actually becomes a pyramid scheme, I think it was always a pyramid scheme from what I'm seeing. And I don't have everything here, but I've seen a couple of videos. Woo! It's not looking good. Okay, that's just the tweet. So we can move on to the tweet. The official tweet. Oh, that's rough. That's really rough. What do you mean? Readers are adding context to this. No way, man. I mean, no. Let me open this up in a tab. So you can make it a little bigger. It can be read properly. God damn it, I hate when that happens. There we go. The shoujo has failed. Billions. Must try. And I've mismanaged the company to the situation you're all witnessing. So today, I'm sharing the difficult news that vtuber is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. Next to my favorite big tuber now, Lamar. Well, I don't know anything about the guy, really. I think I've seen some of his old videos and they were fine, they were okay. I've seen also that a lot of people hate the guy because he's Jewish or has Jewish family. What a bunch of nonsense. I think I am supposed to be the Nazi here. What are you talking about? I don't even like the Germans. This is really interesting. They mentioned that vtuber is shutting down. So people are assuming the NDAs are void. And I don't believe the NDAs are void, but not because vtuber is shutting down, but because those NDAs were extremely predatory. So yeah, you can sign that NDA if you want. They cannot kill you, okay? Killing is still illegal. That's crazy. Shit, if is insane. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we're in a worse position. And those I care about are now paying the price. Those I care about, by the way. Sure thing, pal. Sure thing. Over the past few years, we've raised around 11 million USD to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits. So that was a lie. That was a lie. To achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, TV investments, That apparently is also a lie from what I'm seeing. I want to finish this paragraph before I mention anything else. Infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also want the talent to own their IP. Once again, if most of your talents already had their own IPs before, taking those IPs, really questionable. Which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Which is crazy, because they have a bunch of really big VTubers here, especially Iron Mouse. Have you seen her numbers? It's insane. I keep saying that Kaguya was obviously the face of envtubing. Iron Mouse was probably the second, which is not nothing. But the V investments, that was just a bald-faced lie. I've seen some indies that were about to join vShoju talking about their experiences with joining vShoju, and they had to spend a bunch of money themselves for debut, including models. Where's the journalist split here? I just don't understand. Are we sure this is not Niji-sanji? Well, they have a bunch of old Niji-sanji livers, so who knows? I do believe they were worse than Niji-sanji since before this. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent with the company was raised in connection with talent activity. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs. And people believed, based on the information available to us, that we will be able to do so and cover all expenses. Once again, wow, $500,000! Mine! We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin gonna run, which, funny enough, this guy used to have, and I mean years because they removed it like yesterday or 2 days ago, a global emote on Twitch because this guy had close ties to Twitch. I've seen a tweet, I can probably look it up, but I've seen a tweet with a really interesting theory. I don't know if that is true or not, but it is an interesting tweet nonetheless. Let's go back to this. This guy was mentioning that knowing that Garen, CEO of vShoju, had ties to Twitch, maybe that was why they had these draconic laws, let's put it that way, on Twitch against VTubers, trying to kill vShoju's competition. It makes sense. I have to say, it makes sense. Is it the case? I don't know. I don't know. It's really strange to think that people at Twitch are that smart. But who knows, really. We have this community note. Justin claims to not know the purpose of the funds, but he personally congratulated Armouse on the completion of her charity fundraising event, and personally directly mentioning that half the funds will go to charity. Huh. How curious. Now we have a couple of tweets. Let's just open the tweets here. You did it, Mouse. Oh. Well, badge of staff here is new. Fans will be looking at this post. Yeah, I bet they will. This is from September 2024. September 2024? Just when casing stopped being paid. Huh. How curious. And we have another one here. The reposting of Garen by Ludwig. Your Masters Blue passed my old Twitch sub record and still has another day to break Kai's record. K? Keep up, maybe? I seen some weird people flame her on Twitter the past couple weeks, but I hope she shatters the old damn sub record, and I think she did. And but then the record got broken again, because people don't like tubers. Wow, what a shock. He's a great streamer, has one of the best stories on Twitch, and also didn't have the money raised to charity. Go Iron Mouse. And I don't have the link here, but they started a new fundraising for the IDF, not the Israeli one, by the way, the Immunodeficiency Foundation here. And they managed to gather more than 1 million USD, which is absolutely insane. So, it's not that people don't like fundraising, it's not that people are greedy or anything like that. It's a real strange situation all around. So obviously, vtuber is profitable because they have big tubers that can make big money. So what happened here, I have absolutely no idea. What can you say? No clue at all. But thankfully for us, we have some former vtuber. Well, I guess every single one is actually just the former vtuber now. Talking about vtuber's issues, we have, for example, here Bay. Most of these tubers I don't really like. Don't know too much about them either. But I have to say, I'm not a fan. Thing is, this happens to be the case because all of the stories seem to have a lot of common ground, let's put it that way. Here we have a kind of a long tweet, just saying here a little bit, but it is pretty important, I feel. And so our NDAs are now void. Why let me show you? Back in 2023, vtuber tried to bully me into one of the most predatory contracts that I have ever seen. When I tried to ask more about it, their COO got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any of my questions, and so I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification. That's not looking good already. That's looking really strange, that's looking really suspicious. Sure, we all know that idols in show business have really suspicious contracts on the back. But I'm pretty sure she was in vtuber before 2023, right? So this is an obvious change, which is never good. Not this kind of change, at least. During the talks, it became clear that vtuber would rather let me go than to take less away from me. They were ultimately wanting me to give up more than half of all my sponsors' revenue and over 60% of all merch sales. All I asked from them in return is to not take a cut of the sponsors that I was getting through Mythic, as the cut was already being taken. And if we are being a little bit reasonable, this makes all of the sense. If you're not getting those sponsors through vtuber, where are they getting a cut? That doesn't make any sense. They want just free money. They said no, they want it all, and so he asked to leave after being treated like he was disposable in our talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer, and that they're the reason for my success, which is wild because she was successful before joining. That's why she joined, actually. There were them, and that I should be happy to give them my money. Oh, please, take my money. Huh, this is really funny. We've seen this before with gaming companies, so it is hilarious to me. This is insane what's going on here. And I've seen a bit of Textone's reaction to Shy Lily's video. It's convoluted, okay? And she was mentioning something along these lines. Okay, 50-50 of all my sponsor revenue. And apparently, they were claiming that's just the industry standard. And apparently that is highly incorrect, and that seems highly incorrect. It's not supposed to be 50% for the company. It's supposed to be 15% for the company, not 50-50. 15-85. She also mentioned that they want to take 5% from all of the sponsors that she was getting through Mythic. And you're like, okay, but she did nothing for those sponsors, why should she give her the money? Well, where's my part, I suppose? Sounds like a mafia, honestly. I've seen mafias being less greedy than this, surprisingly enough. And on top of that, they wouldn't sign a non-compete with Mythic. Which is crazy to me. So they can fuck you over, so they can take a portion of your earnings. Are we sure these guys are good? I don't think so. In order for me to leave, they demanded to sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any of the other talent about it. I'm not sure if that's legal. I could not say why I was leaving. I could not say what the terms that I was saying no to were. I don't think that's legal. I haven't got in trouble for advising them to hire their own attorneys. That seems like illegal. Well, it's really illegal. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and then threaten to sue me. If I said anything that hinted towards how I really felt about the company, I was threatened with a lawsuit. Look, I've signed NDAs before. They are not like this. They are not like this. And the normal ones at least, obviously. So, if they are this bad, they cannot really be enforced. So, they should be void by nature. And I guess you probably need to still talk to a lawyer, and just in case. If you don't know legalese, yeah, don't make the mistake, right? But I do believe this is just not valid. Another one of their leave terms was that they will announce both me and Silver on the same day, in order to minimize the damage to their company. Well, that's clearly not happening anymore, as we've seen. The CEO has begun to push a narrative on 4chan. Yes, I'm serious. Lumfao. On fucking 4chan. Hilarious. Now social media that I'm leaving because I plan to join OTK. And both me and Silverwhale are troublemakers, so they were letting us go. I don't know anything about they or Silverwhale, but what I've seen of Silverwhale, she doesn't seem to be a troublemaker at all. Later I found out that Neanderthals wanted to leave around the same time, but also being unhappy with the contract. I was told that she couldn't because it did not fit their narrative that they were pushing internally and externally. The gaslighting is real. The amount of hate we've gotten over living. From fans calling us we're the bitches, to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing aside the company. Because we are successful enough. Shit was fucking painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. Once again, that's something really stupid to say. Because they made the company because they were successful. So, if that's the metric to leave the company, they wouldn't have created the company in the first place. It makes literally no sense. I never understood that argument. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I had already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back fully. To add insult to injury, they also demanded I had to pay them back 10k for some of the anniversary assets which, when they sent me back months later, were half finished. Well, congratulations, Ninja. You're not the worst this week. What a prize. That's insane. That's truly insane. But what about... Hold up. What about our funding when directed to our creators through generous splits? Well, that was a lie. That was a clear lie. Despite all of that, I've had immense faith that the company has gotten better over the past 2 years. It's not gonna happen, because they don't need to. Because nobody's holding them accountable. Hasn't they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them, and seeing all the new talent join? Clearly this was not the case. Okay. You might think I shouldn't be saying this. You might think this is extremely crass coming from me. But deep down you understand this is the truth. This works really well because these are women that don't know any better. And I truly mean this. The VTubing scene feels a lot like high school. The worst part of high school. So obviously this was going to happen. Because most people in the scene are not business savvy. So they don't know anything about what they're doing. So they might see the contracts be like, ah, this seems strange. But a lot of people are signing it, so it's probably fine, right? No, it's crops in a bucket, sadly. So, yes, they are really easy to be exploited. You also have the, once again, the celebrity status, right? Are you willing to sell your soul to become a huge star? Well, it didn't start with VTubing, obviously. This was the case for decades in Hollywood, for example. We all remember that strange case with Harvey Weinstein. Oh, what a predator. Well, the guys were saying yes, okay? So they were paying with the bodies just to become stars. Superstars, I suppose. Do you think that's good? No, but at the same time, if you're willing to sell yourself, you need to face the consequences of that. This comes mostly, in this case, right, from ignorance. So, if you're stupid and you don't know what you're signing and you don't understand the contract, if you don't know if that's normal, get a lawyer. Just get a lawyer. It will be fine, okay? That's the job. Now for some fun facts. Your company lawyer has an expired law license. He literally does not practice law anymore. And he was our point of contact for any legal help we needed. Okay, correction. Get a lawyer with an actual license, okay? I'm not British here, but I'm pretty sure you need a license for the lawyer. Yeah, it's probably extremely illegal too. They actively pitted us against one another during my time there, and compared their success to others. They tried enforcing streaming schedules so that the review count would look better with less overlap. Okay. To be fair, I understand telling them, well, maybe you don't want to overlap too much, so you can have more viewers each, because you would not be competing for the same viewers. You shouldn't enforce it, especially if you're talent first. But if you think that's a good idea, you might mention it, and I think mention it, it's fair. Just a recommendation, right? So much for talent first, am I right, fellas? They would always shit talk other vtuber agencies. They literally would spend company money to get the tiny dig at them. Especially in Hololive. Wow, what the hell? They literally lived rent-free in Garran's hell. They were convinced Hololive was over when they sent Kaisen and Nasuna. They sent Kaisen and Nasuna, and then nothing, which is really funny. They didn't do anything but that. You had two huge names, and that was just a huge fucking waste. You literally did nothing with that. I'm starting to think this guy's not being competent. Also, you can try to dig at especially Hololive here. They don't really care about you. They're doing their own thing and they're being successful. Even if right now they're in a somewhat rocky place. Our previous talent manager got ghosted for 6 months by Gun Run. Told him to do any work for us and then got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any assistance. Whoa! Talent first, more like talent what? MTD, apparently this refers to Mautindo, which was a guy working for the company, which left late 2024 and is trying to feign ignorance. My fella, it's not gonna work. And then got reprimanded for being creepy to us. LOL. Go tell him to message us privately. Go figure. You want some women? Just make a VTuber agency. I think getting a mailing wife from Ukraine or Southeast Asia is actually a better idea than that. That can actually work. I have heard from other streamers attending their IRL parties that Nintendo would actively shit-talk me after I left the company, to paint me in the worst light imaginable. Don't know why you're acting innocent on Twitter pretending you weren't aware of anything. Can't wait to see all the shit that comes out about you, because there's loads. But there's so many stories to tell. Hilarious. Thanks for reading, and thanks to those who stuck around between then and now. Please forgive me, Silver and Yan, the benefit of the doubt when we need it most. Crazy. Yeah, we have a reply here from Janus. I thought that was correct. And then I had the audacity to talk shit about you to my face at a party. The year that we all left, and painted you some kind of conniving, greedy, mean girl. Conniving, I use that word sometimes. Forcing my ear and manipulating me into leaving vtuber. Just because she wanted me to join OTK. Because her boyfriend Sada is part of that organization. Or for some game, or for personal games, some shit. Sure thing, pal. He got uncomfortably close and up in my face and was like, come on, I know the real reason you left. I know it was because of Bay. She talked you into it, etc. And it was infuriating. I know he spread the same shit to other staff, talent and other industry people. Seeing one of my closest friends get dragged through the mud like this for years was awful. You did absolutely nothing wrong and had so much shit flung on you. Just cause you want to push a narrative. They want to push a narrative to take the company. I think he crossed the word with something else. For him to act like he's completely blameless is insulting. He's a creepy motherfucker, and it's a lot more obviously, but a lot of it is also not my story to tell. Bro, here from Leaflet. Watching all this unfold is so disgusting from Giri. It's crazy shit, dude. It's insane. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy because I am usually that guy. And I am that guy because I have to be. When something looks really great and it looks unbelievably good, it's probably a lie. So don't fall for it. I know I'm a little bit too jaded for some people. That's still an advantage, I do believe. So yes, if vtuber was looking, wow, it's almost perfect. Yeah, that's probably just a facade. Which in Pokemon is a good move, but in reality, it can be a really dangerous situation. We also have, I need to stop the music here because we have a batch of clips from Silver. I haven't gone through these specific clips, but I've seen some of the clips. I suppose they are on the same line. We have a tweet here from Rima. Jesus Christ, we have no idea how bad it was. During the Hogwarts Legacy and controversy, Silver had a call with Gone Wrong, someone she admired. She said she was told she was a disappointment, harmful to the brand, that her harassment was an inconvenience to other talents. She was told not to speak to them and was suspended from streaming. I remember this. I do remember the fucking Wizard game. And this to me is just fucking hilarious, okay? That's fucking hilarious. Because obviously this, first of all, this is clearly not talent first. This is not, we are all happy here. But at the same time, you're going to punish Silver. Silver? Punish Silver. I know how to speak sometimes. For playing fucking Wizard game while you're still poaching somebody else that decided to leave her former company from the harassment she got because she wanted to play Wizard game. That's fucking hilarious. The fucking audacity that has been on the minds of many since early 2023. Lo and behold, we were justified. It didn't make any sense. And that was actually true. It didn't make any sense. It was all for the money, baby. All for the money. When they left, they were discredited to staff and paid us greedy for asking for more money. That's not necessarily wrong. This is actually normal, right? This is actually normal. This is just trying to, it's not discussion. Negotiation. It's you trying to negotiate the contract. That's standard practice in business. It happens all the time. In fact, this happened extremely privately. So many horrible things just to avoid the truth they were stealing from us. Here Nam Silver and Vase supporters together to make it seem like a joint decision and block Niams from leaving at the same time. They held her hostage. This is what we just read from Vay. So it makes total sense. Silver later found out she was slandered to artists, companies, and business partners she had worked with through vtuber. And even though now we understand that's just a lie. Just nothing more than a lie. Damage is already done. That's 2+ years of fucking slander. It's not going away, sadly. Probably showed your contract had no exit clause. I'm no expert, I'm no legal expert, so take this with a grain of salt. I don't think that's legal. They can hold you hostage with the contract. Guys, how do we call that? Indented servitude. I do believe that's borderline illegal, because that's borderline slavery. I made more money in the first 2 months of Mythic than the entire time at V showed you. Wow. And they still went bankrupt. What happened? Oh, I get it now. I get it now. It was just because fucking fortunate, wasn't it? Garang and his people kept looking at the yacht memes from Niji Sanji, and he was like, you know what, fuck you. I also want a yacht. He had the kind of money, I'm afraid. Hilarious. Picking the mic a little bit today. I guess I'm a little bit too active. The threat of them seeing me was very real, and it haunted me for a very long time. Even before it was announced that I was leaving, I had just mentioned in my Discord just like casually that I was stressed and needed to cancel the stream, and they contacted my lawyer because of that and threatened to sue me if I hinted that I was leaving or unhappy at all. You will be happy, or else. It's just the happy family, guys. It's just the happy family. That's something I always hated, right? And that may be just a me issue here. But to me, the thing that, the company is just a big family, to me seems really stupid. Maybe it is because I have some professionalism, right? It's not a family. It shouldn't be a family. This is a company. This is business. We should be serious about it. Oh, man. You need to be careful with the people you have nearby if they act that way and they're not your actual friends. They probably want to take advantage of you, which... business, am I right? It's just business. Just because he said they were stressed, so imagine if he said anything else. They were watching us like a hawk. I think they were watching all of us. Apparently that's the case. They were quite literally stuck in them. AP right. Of course we'll keep our IPs. We started with them. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, they get to keep their IPs. Well, they never own the IPs anyway. Right? The company, in this case, I mean. So if the company were to keep the IPs, the company either bought their IP from them, which seems ill-advised when you're already established, or they just stole it. Suspicious. I'm still timestamping in Simulation History. We'll post my notes later. Support Silverwhale, she has been through so much. It's crazy, man.
I was put into a call with Gunn, the CEO of the company, like someone that I admired and I looked up to and I wanted to please, someone that I thought was the coolest person ever. And he told me that I was a damage to the brand.
Damage to the brand, are we sure? I do believe. Well, I'm not quite sure about Silver. But if she stuck to her guns just by playing Wizard game as a normal person, she would have gotten a lot of support from that. I still remember the fucking Peeper stream. That was hilarious.
That I was a disappointment. I was told that me being harassed was an inconvenience to the other talents and not to talk to them. Optics were more important than their own talents' well-being.
Many such cases. That's to be expected. Still shitty, but that is to be expected from what we were saying.
And I was suspended from streaming. They said it wasn't a suspension because they weren't that kind of agency.
Not that kind of agency. It's not a suspension, but you cannot stream so much for talent freedom. Am I right, fellas? Keeps happening.
But what else do you call being told not to stream? Talent freedom, right?
And as we can see here, she's obviously really emotional. And once again, this is going to sound really crass, but it is not wrong. Do you know that weak emotional women are really easy to manipulate? Don't do that, but that's something that people do.
But whenever anyone was like, oh, I love Shoujo so much, it's so cool that they get to keep their IP. Bitch, we own our IP. We started with our IP. Of course we get to own it. It's ours. Why are you celebrating that? Like, oh, bad things happen, but they get to keep what they own. Like,
That's hilarious. Well, bad things are happening, but they get to keep what they own. Well, thankfully, it's not a communist company. Yet, well, I'm not quite sure anymore.
fucking duh. Yes, obviously. And everyone's like, oh my god, I love Shoujo. I want to sniff their parts because they get to keep their IP. Wow. Like, fucking obviously, it's not as big of a deal as you're making it. Like, fucking get over yourself.
It would be more impressive if it was a different case, and this has happened with smaller companies. The companies actually own the APs, like traditional companies. The same line as Whole Life, for example, but not as big. And the company dies. I think this happened to Sundaria, right? I only have tangential knowledge of this, but one of Pipa's friends, Chikafuji Lisa, was a part of Sundaria, and she got to keep her IP, even though the company collapsed and she was going to become like independent indie whatever. That's more impressive than what was happening here. Then she signed with Idol. I don't know what happened with that. I don't really follow her. But that is actually far more impressive than, wow, you get to keep your own IP because you already own it. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Are you gonna come to my home to steal my computer too? Well, this is not Nijisanji.
And everyone would always say that, and it's like, what's happening?
And now I'm a little bit curious, right? Because she's obviously frustrated when people say that, and of course you would be. Thing is, can't you say that? That's something we know. That's public information. I don't think that should be behind the NDA because, once again, if you had your own IP and then join the company, and the company is supposed to be talent freedom, you're not waving away your IP rights. Especially when you're not an actual employee, you're just a contractor. Not a legal expert, but I think that makes sense to me.
Oh, like I know, like other companies would own their IP or like make you sell it or whatever, but like that was Shoujo's whole thing, is that they were different. And obviously different fucking sucked. But
I guess I'm not wrong. But on the same line, sure, Visual's different here, but mainly because they are grouping already established creators. Only a handful of them got no IPs, I'm gonna say, through Shoujo. All of them being Japanese. I wonder how it has anything to do with that. Because they got Henny. Apparently she owns her own IP, which is fantastic. And that JP branch they released, when was it? Last year? I'm not quite sure. I think it was something like Shoujo Nova? I don't really follow them, but I do believe the name Peke is Peak is really funny. And I see her sometimes on Twitter. And she is also recommended to me sometimes on Twitch. I have never watched it or anything, but it is a fun name. Quite unlike most of the other companies. For example, once again, best example, Hololive. When you join Hololive, unless you're Suisse, you come in with a new look and a new name. And when you leave, that look and the name belongs to the company. So of course you don't get to keep it. Being the kind of company it is, I don't think they will allow you to buy the IP rights, even if you have enough money. But that's just business. Japanese Idol, man. I don't know. It's really different. there's a difference. There's a difference. There's another company that actually lets pre-established streamers on their to keep their channels, their personas, and whatnot. That being Face Connect with their invaders. Sometimes they are new, sometimes they are not. We have Lumi, we have Cleo, we have Sleep, a bunch of people friends, right? Sleepy and Mari that I can tell. The thing is, I'm pretty sure they don't get to keep their IPs by default. Because there was another, right? That was a long time ago, so I don't really know too much about it. But I'm pretty sure with Lumi, another girl joined called Yuri. And she got terminated. She didn't leave, she got terminated, and she didn't keep the channel or the persona. Which is a little bit strange. But, well, you signed the contract, that's on you, I suppose. And I guess some people mentioned something about having IP rights for merch and whatnot. I don't know how it works. I have no idea. Is that the case? I guess it makes sense, but if it works for VShoujo, I guess they're actually just like Mythic, right? Kind of middle management. No idea. Let's keep listening to
And
this.
when we left, they of course discredited us to the staff and the other members. As soon as we left. Like, they painted us as troublemakers and problem people. That we were greedy and asked for more money.
They're greedy. They ask for more money. Shit, like literally anybody negotiating a new contract? What are they talking about? Also, once again, I don't really follow Silver or anything like that, but she doesn't seem to be a troublemaker. Let's be real, guys. Come on.
There's like so many horrible things just to avoid the truth that they were stealing from us. And they intentionally announced Vei and I leaving at the same time, so it looked like we left together, even though Nyan wanted to leave at the same time. And they refused to let her leave at the same time because they wanted it to look better for them. Like, it's not like we were all jumping ship at the same time. They literally held her hostage.
I wonder if that was legal. Depends on the contract, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. I guess I'm a little bit too explosive for these kinds of deals. What? You want what from me? Get the fuck out of here, I'm out.
So it would look better for them. And they advised the talents to stop associating with us.
And I think there's still another clip
I
here,
later
right?
found out that they'd been slandering me to musicians and artists that I had worked with.
I wonder if she can sue for defamation. It might be difficult to prove. Or maybe it's actually really easy to prove. I have no idea. She probably doesn't want to incur those costs and the long and real low process of legal fights. I get it. I understand. It's really annoying.
VShoujo.
It's still unfair.
And slandering me to companies and ruin potential business partnerships that I was really, really excited for some of my like dream collabs that were gonna happen. And like staff was known to ask for turf everywhere. Like they even run some of the really large vtuber clip channels.
It's not a mafia, guys, we promise. They just run the clipping channels. I wonder why. That's crazy.
Like they were everywhere. And they had their hand in every pie.
That's crazy. Also, I have to admit that I'm being hypnotized a little bit by the mouth. The ship is a little bit strange to me. I think it makes sense, right? Is there a point that she stops talking? Well, that's a streamer for you, maybe not. But the shape, I find that to be a little bit unique. I was not looking at the tits, okay, even though they're just there. And that's fucking beautiful. Talent first, my ass. And I have to say, Jason has massive balls, right? Let's bring up the music. I think we have more clips, not for this at least. she got really mad about everything that was happening, and she got the Japanese CEO into the stream and be like, okay, I will question you, what the fuck is going on here? And at some point, she was like, okay, fuck you, I'm quitting. And the guy was like, hi. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. But at the same time, I don't know. I want to say, it's gonna sound wrong, but I think it is true, right? If these were guys, this would never happen. At least with most guys. Because I would like, dude, you're not paying me, what the fuck is going on here? Well, this and that, you haven't paid me in months, perhaps years. The fuck is wrong with this? Oh, well, you see, fuck you, you're gonna pay me. You're gonna be paying me, and I'm out. And even though I'm out, you're still paying me, fuck you. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm that kind of guy. But that makes sense to me, right? You have to be a lion, you have to be a shark in business. If not, you're gonna get fucked over and over and over again. And lo and behold, it keeps happening, right? So I guess it makes sense when we look back, I don't know, about months. 3 different talents left, those being Matara, Giga, and surprisingly enough, Centrea. And even though the first 2, I don't think they mentioned anything about the reason for leaving, Centrea mentioned disagreements with money. Which, once again, it's really funny because, yes, that makes sense. And look, people don't understand. This is just a business, after all. This is their job. If they're not gonna be paid what they think they should be paid, or what they should be paid, because let's be real, 50-50 here is just insanity. You're gonna leave. You're just gonna leave. That happens all the time. That happens with normal jobs too. So I don't understand the big deal. Ah, but you're leaving your friends. Fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. I'm not gonna be mistreated by a fucking company, of all places. So, yes, I'm gonna be greedy about my fucking job. How is this insane? I already have this idea for a video, but I do believe, I don't know if I'm gonna make that video or not. I'm still making a different one. I will need to edit a bunch of stuff later, after stream. But I do believe that in modern society, people are way too selfless. Dude, you can sacrifice yourself for the well-being of literally everybody else. You're not gonna be a martyr, even. You're gonna be a fucking idiot, okay? And this has a lot of branching paths that take place. But obviously, we've seen this with video games, and I know I've talked about this with video games. Oh, but the companies. Once you think about the companies, well, what are the companies going to think about making a fucking good product for once? And this is the same. Are you really not going to be selfish for your own good? It's insane. And I'm not even saying being selfish as in taking more than what you deserve. I'm saying being fucking normal. It's quite hilarious I'm talking about being normal. I know, the irony is not lost. But what the fuck? It's your money, it's your time, it's your fucking life. Let's be real. Sure, you'll have important people in your life, and you might think about literally sacrificing yourself for those people. But that's usually close family. Are you really going to sacrifice yourself for a fucking company? Guys, this is not Japan. You don't need to die, okay? You don't need to die, and you shouldn't die. The most important person for you should be yourself. Until you have kids. I understand putting your kids first. That makes sense. It's the only way for you to live forever. In theory. There's also that guy that keeps stealing his son's blood. I don't like that guy, he looks like a, well, literally a demon. But you need to be a little bit smart about it. It's business. You're not taking advantage of the company. The company is quote-unquote employing you to get revenue. So if you're getting bigger, you're getting more revenue, you're getting better deals, not necessarily elsewhere, but in some of these cases, with Mythic and whatnot, why wouldn't you want to renegotiate your contract when it has atrocious splits like 50-50? You'd be like, okay, they're taking a lot of money. I can probably make more money if I'm just indie with the manager. That's being with Mythic, usually, from what I'm saying. Stop being stupid! But what are they going to say about you? Well, I don't know. They're always going to talk shit about you anyway. It doesn't matter. So fuck him. Fuck him anyway. That's the nature of internet. Absolutely terrifying. At the same time, I'm also seeing many artists being like, oh, you guys weren't being paid? I thought I was the only one. So nobody was being paid here. So I don't know where the money went. I guess trying to jab at Whole Live. I think somebody mentioned, I don't have that Twitter tab, sadly. Somebody mentioned something about some sort of advertising in Japan that was really expensive. And people were like, okay, but you don't need to spend into 7 billboards or something like that for several days all the time? Probably not, right? Well, yeah, probably not. I don't know, what a fucking disaster. You get what you fucking deserve, Isho. You won't be missed. You won't be missed. And since Imperator mentioned Nux before, I once again don't know too much about the guy, but I do remember there was a huge controversy back in the day when Nux made a video about vtuber, about some sort of information that was being leaked or something like that. Even though he was not the leaker or anything like that, he was just tipping them with, whoa, careful, this is happening. This seems like a problem for you guys. And he got run through the mud for that from the company. Because they wanted to work, not work, but they wanted to edit the video for him because he was saying stuff that apparently was a big no-no for the company. And a lot of people felt really slighted by vtuber since then. I guess they were justified. What do I know? I guess they were justified. Strange. Really strange. And speaking of other stuff I've seen, I think Shailene mentioned anything else from that. Because she wanted to join vtuber, but the contracts she was getting were really strange. She had a lawyer and was like, hold up, this sounds really strange. Maybe I don't want to join after all, and she got ghosted or something like that. That's really strange. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but the cut vtuber wanted from other sponsors from other companies, like Mythic in that case, was 5% for doing literally nothing. That's really strange. That's really strange. That would be, I don't know, I think Tecton mentioned like $1,000 for free for a sponsor that they have anything to do with. Which is not a lot of money for these companies, but it is still free money. That's really weird. That's really weird. That's what happened with Twitch, man. So yeah, once again, are we sure these people are great? Probably not. And the fact that Twitch removed Gunrun's emote, it speaks buckets in bucket loads of the fuck is going on here. And I guess speaking of Twitch, we can mention here the guy Sek Pussy. Funny name. Twitch has updated multi-streaming, simulcasting enforcement notes in attempts to clarify what you can do and cannot, what you can and cannot include in your bio. It states that you cannot direct users to another platform. Well, of course, I wouldn't want people that are watching on Twitch right now to move to YouTube or Kick. Absolutely not. I would never be that guy. Lamau. Tournament notes are additional examples of what is and isn't allowed on Twitch. Focus on clarifying existing policies already being enforced. Updates here do not indicate a change in policy, but there are additional examples of existing enforcement. I keep saying that, but I'm not sure about it. Links to social media profiles in your bio or panels, including links to live stream platforms, are permitted. Cool! That makes sense. You may not use your bio, about me, or panels to actively promote other live stream platforms, including large banners or messages encouraging users to watch your live stream on other services. Okay, what's the limit? I can put the links, but what's the caveat here? Is it fine if I just mention this is the link to YouTube and this is the link to Kick? Is it possible for me to add a single banner about those sites? It's way too much if I mention them by name, because, wow, YouTube link, Kick link, and they have actually YouTube and Kick there? I don't know, that seems really strange. Is it wrong if I say in one of the panels, not in the big header, but just written in text, that I also stream on those platforms? I have no idea, it makes no sense. And what the site here says, confusing updates. Yes! I don't know what I can do anymore. So fuck around, find out, I suppose. Twitch may not be used to drive users to a live stream on another platform or service. Well, to be fair, if Twitch keeps breaking, I would mention that I might be streaming on different platforms, you know? For example, you can use Twitch to encourage viewers to alternative live streaming services via links on your Twitch bio, banners, QR codes, broadcast titles, call live notifications, chat commands, or other means. Okay, hold up. Links to social media profiles in your bio or panels, including links to live streaming platforms, are permitted. You may not use your bio or panels to actively promote other live streaming platforms. And also, you can use Twitch to encourage viewers to alternative live streaming services via links in your Twitch bio. Huh? We have here 4 dots. 3 of them are contradicting. What are you talking about here? I have no fucking idea anymore. I have no idea. It's crazy. Links are permitted, but you may need to use them to actively promote. But then again, you cannot use Twitch to encourage viewers to alternative live streaming services via links on your Twitch bio. It doesn't make any sense. Are we sure these guys are competent? Well, probably not. It's Twitch, what else is new? Nah, let's be real. It's Twitch, what else is new? Nothing is new here, I'm afraid. Man, I hope they go fucking under at some point. Because this is insanity. Oh man. Surprisingly enough, Be Sure You're Dying is not the biggest, well, I'm trying to say the biggest. It's not the only big disaster this week, which is, oh boy, how do I put this? Not a big fan of the government, also not a big fan of censorship. I think I've always said that. Some people will say, ah, but you oppose ideological content. Yes, but I'm not saying that content should be banned. I'm saying that content is low quality and should fall by some merits, or I suppose, lack of merits, which is different. It's not a prohibition, because I am powerful. I need them to understand that they're trash, okay? It's not the same. So, of course we've seen a little bit of censorship on Steam the other week, but it keeps happening. I don't know how well this is ordered, so we'll see what happens. We have a bunch of stuff from, there's guys called again? Collective Shout, which is really funny. But first of all, we have a hilarious thing they saw the other day. This guy locked down the account because everybody was being like, yeah, no, you don't get to be that guy. You get to shut the fuck up. It was this. Thankfully, we had an archive. This is from Wolf Nanaki. Furry and trans. Oh boy. She hair? Sure thing. With the anti-porn crusade coming from a TERF organization. For those who don't know, TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist. I hope gamers finally realize that queer people were never their enemy, and they have a shared struggle. They won't. Well, why don't you shut the fuck up when you people are extremely censorious in nature too, huh? And now, this from containment, support queer indie games, preserve queer indie games, so when Steam and Niche inevitably scrap them, you can share them and keep them alive. Well, I don't like them, so I'm not gonna worry about them. If they disappear, well, sounds like a you problem. Well, I don't think I can say that. You're the cause of this issue, and the enemy. Ah, censorship has gone too far! You think? You think. And I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, now that they're attacking itch.io, you're going against the payment processors? Why not before, when they were against Japanese content? Well, you can never accuse me of that, because I've always talked against censorship. Since the beginning. If we go back to late 2023, you can see those fucking streams, and I was talking against that already. And I've been against censorship for a long time. Since I was a wee lad, dare I say. I do remember when they killed Mega Upload. That was not good. I was talking against that back in the day. But those parts are also lost to the wind, alas. So, of course, update some of these, please. Had this guy saying, let me open both of these here. People who use artistic freedom to justify throwing the trash are the same wavelength as people who use freedom of speech to justify saying horrible racist shit. Well, 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 isn't that unlucky? And I'm sorry to tell you this, but racism and hate speech has to be protected by free speech. If you have hate speech laws, that is censorship. Fuck you. I also approve, even though we cannot really because of TOS, but in theory, I'm not against the use of slurs. Because they're trying to stifle communication. Oh, you cannot say that, that's really offensive. Sure, but if I want to be offensive, I will find a way to be offensive. And I don't care what kind of strange terminology I need to come up with. I will do it. Because you cannot stop the free communication of ideas. And when they tell you stuff like, oh, you cannot use the N-word, only black people can. So they're doing that, they're trying to remove the stigma on the world. That's clearly fake and also gay. Because there is an obvious lie. If black people are going to throw a shit fit, every single time somebody uses the N-word, even though it may be as part of a song, even though they may be quoting another guy, that's not removing a stigma. That's using the word as a sword against everybody else. How convenient, am I right? I do remember. I've mentioned this many times before. I do remember the early days of YouTube. I do remember Ray William Johnson, when he was one of the main guys on YouTube. You know I'm fucking old when you say this. If you go back to those videos, you would see he didn't censor the use of the N-word, soft N-word obviously, but he would censor the F-bomb. So he would say, without censoring, the soft N-word, but he wouldn't say fuck. Huh. How the turns have tabled, am I right, fellas? That's strange. That's really strange. Also, don't get me on the F-slur. Everybody was saying that back in the day, too. Even though I'm ESL, I know that. And what's have this to it here? Anyone defending lolly trash can't have tells on themselves that they're trying to find a socially acceptable form of something truly awful. Oh no, guys, we're against censorship. When censorship is trying to fight against us. Using my children to justify censorship is wild. It is wild, and trying to have nuance on the internet, you know? Oh, that's not possible. There are many issues here that I disagree of, but there are some core ideas that I can agree on. So, if we come here to the next slide, we have, for example, this tweet here, which is really hilarious, obviously. Gamers are trudging per support of Netflix film Cuties and tend to paint us as pro-exploitation. As usual, they've missed the point. Or ignored it on purpose. And she goes on a thread here, but this is really funny, right? Cuties debates the sexualization of girls, but it doesn't promote it. It helps up a mirror to a culture that grooms girls to believe their value is in how sexy they appear. That's the same culture behind the games, ads, and music videos we've spent 50+ years calling out. Renee defends Cuties by saying it doesn't promote sexual exploitation, but her organization also wants to try to become human, the game where you rescue abused girls, thus condemning abuse, bans. The only difference is, Cuties exploit real children for their message. Hilarious, right? Hilarious. Here we have a post from Band. What all? Actually, it's against exploitation, Cuties says. While those who watch it admit it shows every server in saying in its entirety without reservation. Producers did not have to add dosing, but they did. Producers didn't have to audition 650 girls too, but they did. So this is obviously not for we're trying to protect the kids. Obviously not. Well, my girlfriend in 2 account, I know, right? Thing is, I do understand the idea of protecting kids. I do understand that kids shouldn't be consuming adult products. However, this is not the way to go. There have always been products for adults, which is fine. I guess this is closer to the itch.io thing, but the problem here is not that these things are not regulated, and it is fucking hilarious to me how this company, this Collective Shout says, oh, they are promoting these adult content on a platform that's 13+, like Steam. But those games are 18+, and that's fine, because they're behind 18+ filters. There's nothing wrong with that. If you go against anything that is 13+ on Steam, you will need to ban stuff like GTA, The Witcher, or fucking Yakuza games. When there's nothing wrong with those, anyway, if it's 18+, it is 18+. The problem here is, as usual, using the my children is a really good excuse, because obviously everybody wants to protect the kids. And I'm not saying otherwise. But using law for that is wrong. It's not what you should be doing. Because it's not a thing that should be forced by law, right? Especially when we talk about shows and whatnot. The age ratings, I don't know about the USA, but here at least, there are, in theory, age recommendations. So this is not recommended for people that are not 13+ or 18+. I think, what movie was it? Jurassic Park is like 13+. I watched that as a kid. I think it's fine. Maybe that's just me. The problem starts at home. If you're a parent and you have kids, you should be parenting those kids. What a fucking concept. But they won't. But they have to work a lot. But it's really difficult to parent the kids. There's no control with the kids these days. Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. If you give an 11-year-old or even younger a smartphone with free access to the internet, they're gonna go freely on the internet. Back in my day, when I was 11, phones didn't have internet anyway. Some of them did, but it was really scuffed, and if you used it, your parents would kill you, because that shit was really expensive. And it barely worked anyway. So why does an 11-year-old have a smartphone? Why do these kids have free access without control to the internet? Why are you not parenting the kids? Well, that's a really good excuse for the government to tell you, well, if you're not going to parent your kids, I'm going to parent the kids. And that's reminiscent of the worst countries of modern history. Give me your kids for 7 years, for their first 7 years, and they will be mine forever. Who said that? It will be on the test. This also comes from modern society not having mom at home, and it's a big problem. And when I say mom, I mean an actual parental figure. Because nowadays, and I've been seeing this for close to a decade, and it pisses me off to no end. When I go out to eat or to dine with family or friends, if there's a lot of people out, it's not strange to see a family with small kids. Small kids of about 4 years, right? 4-year-olds. Between 3 and 6, I would say. Maybe 7. I guess an average of 5-year-olds, right? And sure, the parents are talking, they're having some drinks and all that. And the kids, just so they remain quiet and still, let's just give them their phones. There you go, YouTube. I don't think that's a good way of parenting. Imagine that, and I don't have kids, but I would never be that guy. That's really, really dangerous. I do remember Elsagate, after all. But at the same time, we also have other stuff like Cocomelo, lobotomizing kids. And when I was 5 years old, we didn't even have fucking mobile phones. They were a thing, but my family didn't have any. And we survived. Even my sister, she was, as the Americans would say, really ADHD. She was moving around constantly. She's considerably older than me, by the way. Phones were not a thing back then. They weren't even a thing. She survived. She's a woman. She is mostly functional. I'd have my grips with her sometimes. It's not just sometimes. But she is much better than a lot of people you see around. It's fine. You know what we had back in the day? We had small toys. We had fucking coloring books, dude. And all that. That's fine. That's fine. Let the kids be kids. Do not lobotomize them with fucking phones. And above all, don't have the government be a parent, because it's not. I've seen way too many politicians claiming that the kids don't belong to their parents. They belong to the actual government. And I'm like, sure thing, pal. Sure thing. Surely, that's not extremely authoritarian. That's also a problem in general, even directly to someone like me that's being allowed for half fucking minute. Because the government will try to act as my parent. And fuck you, government, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. But this group here, this collective shout, it's really funny, because they're really hypocritical. Apparently some of the people here have actually defended literal pedophilia, which is really curious. We have this one here, this was curious. We have this from J Viper. Why does Collective Shout have so many people that worked in the Australian government or public sector roles funded by the Australian government? Not a big fan of the government. See, I was being a Vegeta kind of guy. Bernie Paljak, that sounds like a Australian name, sure thing. Finance and Administrative Manager from the Australian government. Kate Hulusi, Secretary, Senior Management from the public sector. Jurassic Park, everything comes together. Treasurer from the Australian government. And Sandra Corman, Director, coached individuals in government-linked sectors, also working in public sector. Miranda Babb, Director, background in management law, including work in statutory schemes. Often government administered regulatory frameworks in Australia. Has worked in advocacy with the government and would have ties with people in government. Nothing says grassroots more than the red government ties. Yeah, many such cases. Many such fucking cases. And, once again, as they say, right? I need to look up the word because I always forget the word. It's always been an aging of jailers, after all. So, this happening in Australia is not surprising. I've been looking at Australia since 2020, and what they're doing is rather strange. I'm not a big fan of Australia, especially the government. See? Not a big fan of the government. They are extremely authoritarian. It is kind of wild. I don't know how that happens, but that's what's happening. It's truly insane. Truly insane. And once again, make no mistake about it, I don't think this group is all that powerful. I do believe there's still the payment processors being like, well, this is a nice excuse to keep censoring people that we don't like. Some people have mentioned they've been censoring or trying to censor stuff since 2003, which is wild. Going against the likes of Pornhub, which, well, Pornhub actually had illegal content, so I don't know about that one. As they have here. This one is probably the funniest of them all. From Melinda Tucker Rice. You're morally bankrupt and destroying civilization. How dare you say gamers getting off on the sexual torture of women and kids? Think it's violent. Also in my inbox this morning. Surely this is not fake and gay. You fight with gamers. Now we're going to rape you. You're going to be raped and killed, you stupid cat women. Responded to the survey. Oh no, I'm demonetized now. Well, I wasn't monetized to begin with. You fuck with it. Nah, it's the same name. From the email, rape and kill stupid whore women at rapeallwomen.com. How stupid do you think I am? No, really, how stupid do you think I am? Of all the fake threats you can show me, this is the fakest of them all. Jesus Christ. Of course, they have this here. Community note. Thank you, Elon. Pretty cool. The firm's submission may have been fabricated, you think? Invalid email address and website domain of the respondent. The form used by UP allows fake form submissions, which tend to skew the results. They should reconsider using Google Forms for more valid submissions. Huh! Hilarious. And apparently... wait, hold on, we have Chewy here. So where will I? That domain isn't registered. Lamau. Apparently, some people in Australia actually own the domain Rape All Women, and they were using it as a weapon against YouTube videos that were critical of this group here. I think it was Sabi that got hit by it, and maybe Smash JT. I'm not quite sure about that one, because they were using that domain to redirect to the videos claiming, look, they want to rape all women. And you know what? As Sargon said, don't worry, I wouldn't even rape you. He got a lot of flack from that. I still believe it was hilarious. Ah, it's so crashed. Yeah, that's the point. We also have this one here. Fave, shaming, consulting adults, responding to mails about sexual strangulation. It keeps happening. Here we have some answers. Women try not to have rape fantasies challenge impossible. Come on, try not to fulfill the stereotypes, thanks. I don't know if we can actually read this. So fuck around and find out, let's see what happens. This is from February 25th. Oh man, I'm so sweaty, holy shit, it's kind of hot today. And people have been talking about this for a couple of weeks already. Not necessarily this post here, but it keeps happening, it's really strange. So let's go through this. Surely it's not gonna be... It surely isn't gonna be that spicy, right? I have intentionally used the word strangulation rather than commonly used but inaccurate term choking. Well, I choke at video games all the time. It occurs internally when there is an airway obstruction, whereas strangulation refers to the restriction of air from external pressure to the neck. Okay. I haven't read this, so it's gonna be unfiltered, but I have to say this because it is important. Women like it. Not all of them, but women like it. It's not because men like it. It does nothing for men, usually, but women like it. Let's see how strange this becomes. A staple sex act in pornography, non-fatal strangulation, has now become a common act outside of porn, with a growing number of women reporting being strangled by male partners during sex. It's pretty sure it's, as they say here, consulting. Okay, I think it's consulting. Sexual strangulation has become so normalized it's referenced and promoted in advertising, TV, social media, fashion magazines, excuse me, popular songs, baked goods, and clothing, even in baby onesies. Young me, it's the only way I learn. This feels fake. I'm not saying it is, but this feels fake. This feels like a fabrication. Also, I do remember way back then, when girls would just wear chokers, you know, and all that. Be me, a normal dude. Nick called the crib for doing martial arts in a safe space with actual kids. Be here, an actual crib. Brave and beautiful, many such cases. Also, in this case, it's not actual martial arts, it's marital arts. That's a Simpsons joke, isn't it? It is insane, it is quite insane. I don't care if they're beating each other up, if they're two consulting adults. You do you, baby. But actual consenting, okay? But continue to expose the harms of normalizing strangulation as sexy. Some defend the practice, responding to some of the more common claims below. Myth. It's fine as long as it's done safely. There's no safe way to strangle someone. Literature review by Dr. Vicky Lowick, Associate Professor Heather Lovett, and Dr. Nicola Chang noted, a person who is being strangled can lose consciousness after 4 to 10 seconds of arterial pressure, and have anoxic seizures after 6 to 8 seconds, respiratory control after 15 seconds, and vital controls after 30 seconds, and sustained brain stem damage after 20 seconds, and brain death after 1 to 6 minutes of pressure. You understand that there are levels of pressure you can apply, right? I can grab you by the neck, and you will be held still. And I'm not actually strangling anybody, right? Then again, women, am I right, fellas? Not only can strangulation be fatal, victims are at risk of brain damage or death even weeks or months later. If I don't make this joke, I'm going to explode. Risk of brain damage. They're women. It's a joke. This is an obvious joke. Come on, guys. Individuals who have been strangled can suffer strokes, depression, memory loss, seizures, motor and speech disorders, and paralysis. These serious long-term outcomes can occur even when strangulation is brief and without great force. People, many of them women, have died as a result of being strangled during sex. We therefore reject the claim that strangulation can ever be safe. Well, people have died by driving a car, therefore we have to ban the cars. They are way too dangerous, guys. They're way too dangerous. That's so fucking stupid. Research on young adult men who strangled their female partners indicated they had little awareness of the risks. The most young of the surveyed had sought any education on mitigating them. Their knowledge of strangulation and how to do it was typically informed by pornography. Okay, sure. Pornography is not there for you to learn how to do the thing, okay? But at the same time, you're defending your own purpose, because it's not a case of doing it or not doing it. You're admitting here, you can do it safely. But people are stupid. Yes, I agree, people are stupid. That doesn't mean we should have a bunch of bans on people from doing stuff that could be innocuous otherwise. myth. We just need to teach people about consent. I bet I'm about to read probably the most stupid shit I've read all month. Only all month. Life-threatening practices like strangulation are not transformed into safe or healthy acts, simply because participants consent to them. It's not because they're safe. When you consent to something, in theory, you should understand the consequences of your own actions. If you, just to use the same example, if you take a car and you stop driving, and you have an accident and then you die, well, that's a possible consequence of driving a car. You should understand that's always a possibility. It is unlikely, sure, but it is a possibility. First thing, agree to something and still be harmed by it. From a legal perspective, if strangulation results in bodily harm or serious injuries, consent cannot be a defense. I'm baffled. I'm baffled. A great number of women report being strangled by male partners during sex without warning or consent. Lack of consent is far from the only harm of strangulation. It's a potentially lethal form of violence, overwhelmingly perpetrated by men against women. Are you comparing apples to oranges here? Cool. Cool. Okay, I understand if you want to do something to the woman or to the man, you need to talk about it, right? Don't be a fucking clown. It goes both ways, and this is an example of that. This is not a matter of lethality or consent. This is people being so fucking stupid nowadays, they don't know how to properly communicate. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Also, overwhelmingly perpetrated by men against women. I mean, women can do it against men. It's not gonna be useful, but sure. As women's director Melinda Zucker-Rostock argued in an article published by the ABC, the effectiveness of consent education will be limited unless we address pornography immediately glorifies and encourages abuse. Now, people need to understand that fiction is fiction. How many times have I said that already? It's not just pornography, but still. I question the validity of consent to male sexual violence when such acts are so normalized and even glorified in popular culture that women and girls feel they are expected of them. And no, that's inverse causality, I do believe. It's not because it's in popular culture that this happens. It is in popular culture because it's common and it happens because women like it. Not all of women, some of them, maybe majority, I don't know, but it's based on reality. When women and girls are constantly getting the message that they should enjoy sexual aggression, and that if they don't, they're vanilla or sexually boring, this serves to group them into tolerating acts of sexual violence. Can meaningful consent exist if now this appears to be a viable option? I'm pretty sure this happens, okay? I'm pretty sure this happens. I've just seen freaky women. Freaky men could never compare to this, let me tell you. The acts of violence and degradation are portrayed as desirable, makes it harder for women to identify them as abuse. In the SBS documentary, See What You Made Me Do? You stupid dog, you made me look bad. From domestic abuse in Australia, mate. The survivors illustrated how the legitimacy of strangulation as a sexual practice contributed to their abuse. One said her partner would strangle her and hold her down under the guise of kink. Look, I don't know too much about this, but if you're not actually consenting, it's not kink, it's quite literally abuse. You can just say no. Well, Nana did not recognize strangulation by her partner's abuse because she did it during sex, and she didn't know if it counted. In op-ed, one woman acknowledged the complexities of consenting to sexual strangulation in contexts of intimate partner abuse. The first time I was strangled, I called it consensual, but the truth is, I was stopping a cycle of domestic violence. I confused trauma with kink. Once again, it's not actual kink, it's not actual BDSM. If you're not truly consenting by default, I don't think it counts. You had to talk it out. Like adults. What a fucking shocker, dude. Holy shit. I feel like I'm going crazy half the time here. I think I am. I think I might be actually going crazy. You're shaming people for their sexual preferences. Some people argue that objecting to this particular form of violence against women seems those who enjoy participating in it, making statements like, don't yank someone else's yum, or don't kink shame. Well, to be fair, kink shaming is my kink. So, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. We do not accept that women should remain silent in response to male violence against women, simply because some individuals claim to enjoy it. But you're saying that if they're enjoying it, it's wrong. So I guess it goes both ways. Have you forgotten to ask somebody else? The framing of male violence against women as sexy and desirable harms all women and undermines survivor voices. Whatever the motivations of those who defend men's violence against women as harmless, sexy fun, the inevitable outcome is to silence women who object to the emboldening abuse of men. Previously it was understood that men's violence against women was unwanted and harmful, and perpetrators can avoid accountability by claiming the women they sexually aggressed against wanted it, and tragically, as we've seen again and again, they will be believed. No wonder they're called collective shout. I fucking hate collectivism, because then you get these fucking brain-dead opinions. People like it, and if they like it, it's fine. People don't like it, they don't like it, it's fine. If they don't like it, this shouldn't happen to them, they should talk with their partners. What they are willing to do, what they're not willing to do. Like normal adults. The thing is, nobody's saying here that every single woman should accept choking as part of sex, because maybe she doesn't want it. But at the same time, some of them want it. And if they want it, and if they get it, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, slap my ass! I'm sorry, sweetie. That's abusive. Are you stupid? Be real, are you stupid? Well, these guys are truly stupid. That's obvious. Slapping you in the ass while you're fucking something quite different than the guy just slapping your face during an argument. Noodles? What is that? Is it tasty? I wouldn't know. Myth. With consenting adults, it's up to them. As we established, sexual strangulation is not limited to consenting adults. I'm speechless. Okay. What consenting adults do is up to them. But what about the guys that are not consenting adults? We are not talking about them! Why do I care? That's not the claim they're making! 2019 study from Indiana School of Public Health found an early quarter of women in the US have felt scared during sex. Thanks to my massive schlong, I bet! With a number of these having been strangled without warning by their male partners. These women, along with many others, did not consent. If they did not consent, you stupid buffoon, they are not part of the consenting adults group that we're talking about. Once again, talk about it. You're fucking adults. You pay taxes. You can talk to your guy or your woman how to fuck properly. That's not limited to adults. Teen girls are increasingly reporting being strangled by male partners who have seen the practice in pornography. Defending strangulation as a legitimate sexual practice disempowers these girls. Kids are fucking stupid, okay? We all have seen kids. They're fucking stupid. I call them kids because they're minors, assuming. They mention teens. I don't think they mean 18 plus. They probably mean 15 plus. I want to believe it's only 15 plus. Why does this happen? Kids have unfettered access to the internet, and they will believe everything they see. Trust me, I've seen these guys on social media. I swear, I was not that stupid back then. I wasn't, and my friends weren't either. Which is quite interesting. Thing is, they don't have a proper education. It's not the government's duty to do so. It's the parents. Parents, stop parenting at fucking once. Do you remember having a talk with your parents? Well, I don't. But that's pretty common. It's supposed to be common. Because it is your parents that want the best for you in life. They will tell you about becoming an adult. Doing otherwise is a mistake. We need to situate the practice of non-fatal strangulation within its right cultural context. A global epidemic of male violence against women. We will continue to challenge the normalization and glorification of male violence against women as sexy, because women's lives depend on it. Do we talk about actual violence from men to women? Especially in Europe, you wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. I would get probably jail time if I was in the UK. And ironically jail time, funny enough. Okay, that was stupid. That was stupid. I'll tell you how porn culture promotes violence against women and children. I feel like I'm losing brain cells here. Holy shit, man, what the fuck? It's so strange, it's so stupid. And they will tell you, oh, they're far-right Christian extremists. Surely, radical feminism is extreme right. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And once again, make no mistake about it. I keep repeating myself because I think it's really important. This is not this collective having huge political power or anything. But people that want to censor stuff will see this as a fantastic excuse. 70,000 censors, that's nothing. They managed to get a bunch of shit banned from Steam with 70,000 signatures just from Australia. And then we have Stop Killing Games garnering almost 1.5 billion, having a lot of trouble with the fucking EU. Surely this makes sense. Surely this is more than an excuse. Get the fuck out. And sure, I think it's fair to want to clang on these women too, because they're extremely hypocritical and really wrong still. What do we have here? I need to move my stuff around. We're going longer today, by the way. We had a bunch of stuff. We just have, even though I don't think it's related to collectives out of the itch.io thing, we have, oh, that's wrong, from Parent Nation. The Microsoft, a secret project imprint for adults in visual novels and games, is limiting website access to some US states due to payment processing audits and non-compliance with age verification laws. Sweet home Alabama. Fun enough, it was here where you could get Tekopara after Steam held it hostage, where you can get the 18 plus patch, not available on Steam. Funny enough, how did that happen? You also have Entergram the listing of over 100 titles from Japanese PlayStation Store and Switch eShop on September 30th. Japanese publisher Entergram announced late last week that over 100 of their PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch releases will be delisted on September 30th. It is surprising to me that the Vita still has online service. An additional 34 titles will be transferred to another publisher on October 1st, and the virtual versions will be discontinued, but these games will remain on sale on digital storefronts. Plus a translated version of the Instagram's announcement, and a table of all 414 impacted titles. This might not be censorship actually. Well, that's better. Plan to purchase the titles, but purchase them as soon as possible. See here for titles that can still be purchased as downloadable versions due to transfer of sales. It's not applied to package inventory at retailers. This support will continue to be provided by Etagram. Data that have been transferred for sale are excluded. The end of sales time will follow the regulations of each store. For downloadable versions, redownloading of titles that have already been purchased will follow the regulations of each store. If they take the things that you bought, that's actually illegal. They shouldn't be doing that. More on that soon, by the way. We want to hold the sales end sale for some discontinued titles. I have a big list here. It appears to be just a bunch of visual novels. I don't know any of them. They seem to be, let's say, lovey-dovey nature. Full kiss SS. Making lovers, that's not allowed. It's interesting. But of course, we also have this here, which doesn't have anything to do with current censorship of shops, but I think it's still really interesting. Installed by Japan antitrust watchdog to reform credit info system. Japan's antitrust watchdog said Tuesday it had told Visa Worldwide PTE Ltd to reform its business practices after concluding that the firm restricted and pressured card companies to use its credit information system. It's not about censorship, it's having an unfair monopoly, which fair still, but it's not the be-all end-all of the issue, sadly. It marks the first administrative action taken by the Japan Fair Trade Commission against a credit card company. The commission said global credit card brand Visa, Visa's Singaporean unit, which manages the Asia-Pacific region, including Japan, had charged higher fees to the credit card firms that did not use its network to check credit information. Are we sure this is not a mafia? They're telling you how to use the money anyway, so might as well. Balls to dip, baby. The Commission said the Visa unit has submitted plans to improve its practices, and that it has accepted the plans. The company was exempted from fees and fines or other punitive measures under the anti-monopoly law. According to the Japan Consumer Credit Association, as of 2020, the Visa credit card brand accounted for about half of the market share in Japan. The total amount of credit card transactions in the country in 2024 stood at 116 trillion yen, which is 785 billion USD. That's a fuck ton of money. Credit card transactions involve an issuing company and management company, which both utilize a trusted reference system when transaction is made, according to the watchdog. Interchange fees, typically set by global brands, are paid by the management company to the issuing company during a transaction. While the issuing company, I have a lot of trouble with S and sh sounds today. I don't know why. And the issuing company pays a service charge to a different company. In this case, Visa Worldwide, providing the reference systems, as a lot of legalese. When Visa Worldwide had applied professional rates on certain requirements, it altered the conditions from no later than November 2021 to necessitate the use of its network, leading some companies to switch to the system under Visa, despite it costing more than others. Ah, I have altered the deal. Pray I did not read it any further. Visa that's the line I just read. Visa's practice is believed to have been aimed at decreasing revenue by excluding competitors from the market. Japanese authorities have been investigating allegations. The practice violated the anti-monopoly law, which prohibits companies in a dominant position from imposing unfair trading terms on firms with a weaker standing, which makes a lot of fucking sense. Well, you will lose my system. Why? Because it's my system and I'm stronger than you. Well, that's illegal. That's a big problem. It's a problem because it's stifles competition. You should have actual healthy competition in a free market environment. There's an administrative action against Visa Worldwide. Doesn't mean that the practice violated the law. Stop right there, criminal scum. You have violated the law. I have never played Oblivion. Maybe I should at some point. Seems like a Mimi game. Mimi. And the plan submitted to the Commission, the Visa unit will restore conditions for preferential rates to previous iterations. A third-party entity, approved by the watchdog, will also check the improvements and report to the Commission within the next 5 years. That makes sense. It's not as big as people are making it to be, but it's pretty important. Speaking of payment processors, I've seen mentions of it. I'm not quite sure how it works. I'm not answering all my problems, they say. But apparently in the USA, there's like a bill in the works to buy like this kind of not monopoly, but censorship from payment processors. So if you live in the USA, that would be really interesting. Definitely take a look at that. That seems really useful. Now my country, haven't looked up to it yet. Seen people mentioning, well, maybe you should talk to your representatives, tell them, yeah, this is important, do it. Do it now. That's something I quite like about American politics. You can just call them, and you should call them. I don't think I can do that. Not here. Then again, politics here are really fucked up. Then can you say, hey, it's not looking good. I don't want to leave the country, but who knows, really? Who knows, really? And, of course, we have to mention itch.io, the latest target of payment processor censorship. And this was not elegant at all. They're actually opening themselves up for, apparently, class action lawsuit. That doesn't sound good. The game platform, itch.io, has released a statement explaining their decision to de-index. Dang, that's a huge spell. Dozens, if not hundreds of games in order to comply with payment processor demands. Some users have even reported that offending games have been stolen from their libraries. That's the problem. Steam didn't do that. I still disapprove of what Steam did. But this is just highway robbery. They are taking your games. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. This is a fucking disaster. And some of these games, even though they're on itch.io, they're not that cheap. They can be up to 20 USD. That's a lot of money for these kinds of games. I haven't even... What was the last game I bought for that price? Was it Dragon Quest 11? I think it was Dragon Quest 11, which makes sense. It is the index after all, right? It's the Japanese name of the Zap spells. With the Z, not with the S. The hero spells. God dang! I like Dragon Quest. It's a fun game. Game blog post, each names, famous group, collective shouts, as well as the driving factors for enhanced scrutiny from payment processors. The same group led to Steam also altering the rules to forbid content payment processors may find offensive. But I don't like it. Well, fuck you. It's my money. You can't tell me what to do. And I guess I can wait. I guess I can wait a little bit until I say that. It will make more sense when we go through the UK articles we have. Over the past few years, payment processors have been censoring websites which host user-generated content. They accomplish this by threatening to refuse to do business with them, despite the content not being illegal in the US and many other countries. Didn't that happen to Patreon? I'm pretty sure that happened to Patreon. Then they're exercising an editorial decision to mandate what content platforms will permit, which I don't think they can, legally speaking. I'm pretty sure this is just blackmail, which is obviously bad. See, I was wrong. Sites such as Patreon, Fansly, Pigstive, and DLSite have all been targeted by this attack from payment processors. I think people recommend Subscribe Star instead of Patreon. Earlier this week we shared the change.org petition trying to draw attention to this issue. At Niche Gamer was trying to inform and allow readers to make their own conclusions. However, when it comes to such draconian censorship as this, we find it difficult to remain objective. Yes, they're also coming for you, make no mistake about it. That being said, we encourage anyone who is disturbed by the chilling effect on freedom of expression caused by these groups to sign the change.org petition to help quantify support. Write to your representatives. It's important to remember that that until now, Steam and itch allow this type of content. We're not saying they're blameless, but at the end of the day, their business and Visa MasterCard control the lion's share of online transactions. And this has been pushing Elon to make his own payment processing kind of deal, I don't know if it's gonna be good. I don't know if it's gonna be tied to Twitter. It shouldn't. But holy shit, we need competition here. This is crazy. Rules of the issue are payment processors and collective shout. Mainly payment processors, obviously. Oh, they're pushing it here, I think. Update. Senator Kevin Kramer, Republican, North Dakota? I think that's correct, right? R for Republican, by the way, Republican. And D, North Dakota, I think that's correct. Has introduced the Fair Access to Banking Act. It chooses to contact a representative considering mentioned in this bill. This bill places restrictions on certain banks, credit unions, and payment card networks. They refuse to do business with the person who complies with the law. Which is crazy, because it's not illegal what they're trying to sell. It's insane. Yet. Not illegal yet. Restrictions include prohibiting the use of electronic funds transfer electronic funds transfer systems and lending programs, termination of an institution's depository insurance, and specified civil penalties. Banks and other specified financial institutions are allowed to deny financial services to a person only if the denial is justified by a documented failure of the person to meet quantitative, impartial, risk-based standards establishing advancement in the institution. Normal business shit, if you ask me. This justification may not be based upon reputational risks to the institution. Look, I'm not gonna do it, mainly because I can't anymore, but I wouldn't do it because that's not my kind of thing that I want to buy, right? But if I want to buy those really strange sexy games on Steam, that's between me, the buyer, and Steam, the seller. Even though I would be buying through, I think it's a MasterCard what I have no idea anymore. You don't have to care, it's my money, you shut the fuck up. You had the courier in this case, you take my money and deliver it to Steam. What I bought or how I got the money has nothing to do with you. My money is legal, okay? Just don't ask. The bill establishes the right for a person to bring a civil action for a violation of this bill. Cool. Once again, if you're in the USA, this is probably really cool, and you might need to talk to your representatives if you want actual change, good change even. But boy oh boy, I hate being reminded that the UK is a real place. Here we go. From Sky News, pretty sure these guys are British. 23 degrees! Holy shit, I wish that was me! We were like at 33 before? It's not great. It gets really humid here, after all. New internet rules come into force. Here's what it's changing. Many adult sites currently have simple boxes for users to take and say they're overeating. That's no longer good enough, according to Ofcom. I hate these fucking guys. We talked about this for months, by the way, which is funny. New rules for the internet have come into force and may will change how you browse for the worst. Ofcom's children's codes, a set of regulations designed to protect young people online. Means sites hosting adult content like pornography will need to have highly effective age verification in place. You know what? I don't think kids should be on the internet, but that's for the parents to do. Once again, I don't think I need to loop this so soon today. Social media sites will need to make sure their algorithms are pushing harmful content to young people. And if their terms and conditions say those kinds of posts aren't allowed, the sites will have to make sure their own rules are properly enforced. So what's going to change? The biggest change you'll notice straight away is around age verification. Many adult sites currently have simple boxes for users to take that. You already said that. Instead, they'll have to properly verify their users' ages before allowing them to see adult content. Users visiting adult websites should be presented with a screen that offers them a few different ways to verify their age. That could be by checking credit card details, checking ID, or by using AI facial age estimation. People have been using... what's the guy's name? Oh fuck, I don't remember. He's a really famous actor. the guy in Death Stranding, the main character, that guy, as for the facial age recognition, which is really funny. It's really funny. This is different to AI facial recognition, whereas facial recognition recognizes a face by comparing it to an ID or to a database. Facial age estimation doesn't attempt to identify the individual. Instead, it uses faces based on the positions of their features and other aging traits to estimate how old a user is. The face of consent! Holy shit! Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? I had to mention that chick, she was an adult. She looked really young, but she was an adult. That chick who cosplayed Tatsumaki from One Punch Man. And people were like, oh my god, this is promoting pedophilia. She's an adult. What are you talking about? The AI would say, no, you're too young. And she would be like, but I'm 20 something. What are you talking about? Insanity. Insanity. Facial age estimation is effectively taking a selfie in front of your mobile phone or your laptop, and we capture that image. How about now? On behalf of the business, Robin Toombs, the chief executive of age estimation company Yoti told the Sky News. The AI checks liveness to ensure it isn't a photo of somebody older, and then estimates the age from that selfie, and then returns an over 18 or under 18 message to the business. It then delivers the image. Keep telling yourself that, if it makes you happy, but that's just a lie and we all know it. Also, it's really funny, because I would say nobody in my family looks their age. Not even me. Which, I probably look the oldest, comparatively. I do remember when my sister would hang out with my mother, and they would meet new people, and they would be like, oh yeah, your kid, she has to be 18, right? Sure, how about 30? How about 30? Hmm? That's something that can happen, and that's something that happens all the time. Funny enough. Fucking hilarious. So now I think this technology is gonna be great. Every company with little content on its site, it's obliged to put these rules into place, and Ofcom is willing to be tough with non-compliers, according to Jessica Smith, to regulate the online safety principle. It can impose fines of up to £18 million or 10% of revenue, and in very serious cases, stop sites operating in the UK. Will it actually make a difference? Plenty of people hope so. The government, Ofcom, children's groups and campaigners are all banking on these new rules to change children's experience on the internet. We have had unrestricted access to this content for a generation of children, which has had a lot of impacts, Ms. Smith told the Sky News. Why do you have kids with free access to the internet? That's the main problem. That shouldn't happen, and it starts from the fucking parents. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking insane. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? When I was a teenager, I had limited internet time. Okay? I didn't have a phone until I was like 15, and because things happened. If not, I wouldn't have a phone until I was like 17. Why do you have these kids going through the internet with no fucking check? The government shouldn't be your parents, because they are not your parents. They don't want the best for you. They want you to shut the fuck up, have nothing, and then shut up again. Because no, you won't be happy. It's widely accepted that you have to check your age before you can drink alcohol. And so this is a kind of social change as well as a technical one. Yeah, but me showing the ID to the guy at the liquor store is not the same as me showing my face and my ID through the internet. I'm vtuber for a reason. I'm wanted in 15 states, man. They cannot catch me. Not alive, at least. It's about what we, as a society, say is normal for online experiences. I think these potentials will be important for children in all walks of life. The kids shouldn't have free access to the internet. The same way the kids don't have free access to alcohol. It starts from the parents. This is not necessarily going to stop deterring young people from seeking out adult content. According to Ms. Smith, we should stop inappropriate posts from popping up unexpectedly on young people's feeds. Maybe young people shouldn't have social media. They're fucking stupid, and I hate seeing their posts constantly on Twitter. You're a tourist, you don't know anything about this. Bitch! I've been here before you were born. Do you understand it? Going crazy. I'm the old man. Shout into the clouds. It's me. The most common way that children come across pornography, at least the first, is that they come across it accidentally, she told the Sky News. Accidents can happen. It is your duty as a parent to make sure that you explain to them what is that, how that's pure fiction, and they're too young for that, so they shouldn't look at that. Once again, the government is not your parent, and it shouldn't be. When they're seeking out, they're just scrolling through social media service, and they'll see something that they don't want to see, and it can be really shocking and disturbing for them. Bullshit! It's actually bullshit what they're saying here. Because if things were done properly, you have content filters on social media, you have content filters on Twitter. If something's spicy, it would be blocked by default, and you will have to click it. So clearly, they have free access to social media, which is also wrong. I don't care that the sites are 13+, they shouldn't be 13+. What do you want? These kids to get groomed? That's actually happening. That's not good. And that starts with the parents. I do remember, back in my day, when I started going and surfing the internet, my mother would tell me, be careful out there, you don't know who's on the other side. There's a lot of dangerous people out there. You don't want to get got, man. It's really dangerous. There's a lot of strange people out there. And she was right. There's a lot of strange people out there. I never got by a criminal or anything like that. But there's a lot of strange people out there. Well, some of the worst criminals in this world. Some websites and apps have already announced they'll implement the changes, including the UK's biggest pornography site, Pornhub. Look up who owns Pornhub, by the way. Social media sites, Discord and Reddit, and dating app Grindr. The thing with Grindr is that no kid should be on Grindr anyway, because that's just for fucking adults. Quite literally. Quite literally. But it's already enforcing age verification content like self-harm, suicide and pornography. This is not going to stop at kids. This is never just kids. This is just the slippery slope for virtual ID, which I quite despise. Why don't you show your face? What the fuck do you care about my face? Huh, you bitch? You have it right here. This is more than enough for the likes of you. And if we didn't have more than a decade of cancel culture, maybe I wouldn't be so on edge. But no. No, I will not accept this. And we have some examples here. Well, Wikiband, R34 never porn website. It isn't just porn. Wikipedia have mentioned they might join in. Fucking Wikipedia, by the way. Isn't just hand over your ID for boobies. The devil is overreaching, has the ability to kill off access to the internet entirely. China's becoming more free. Yes. Yes. This is a cautionary tale. I'm not a big fan of the UK. And then they do shit like this. Make no mistake about it. Both sides hate you. And of course, this was already happening. It took all of 12 hours for the Online Safety Act to switch from protecting kids from porn to censoring protests outside migrant hotels. Day 1. Solution will be digital IDs. I warned about this for 5 years. I've been talking about that shit for some time. Well, I talked about that some time ago. It's not a constant topic, which might be a problem. Might be a problem. It is an important topic to talk about. Due to local laws, we're temporarily restricting access to this content until X estimates your age. And well, look at that. Proton VPN reported a 1400% early surge in sign-ups on July 25th, 2025, as the UK's Online Safety Act requiring age verification for websites with explicit content took effect. And I'm seeing, going back to this post, a lot of people have been getting affected by this, not just in the UK, all parts of Europe, so you need to go to your profile, settings, and change your country. Well, you know, I'm something of an American myself, I suppose. Insanity. Fucking insanity. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I need to blow my nose so I won't miss for a second here. I'm starting to believe here that the solution is not gonna be having some sort of license or digital ID. The solution here, if this was actually about kids, we need to have a license for having kids. Oh, that sounds so disturbing, and this doesn't. If you don't know how to have kids and to raise them properly, why are you a fucking parent of all things? It makes no sense to me. Not actually advocating for that. Okay. I will impose that when you reach total power of the universe. Don't worry about it, guys. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Why vote for the lesser of two evils? Vote for me. I will become Demon Lord. And oh baby. Oh baby, this is really stupid. I'm also seeing a lot of people being blocked outside of their own discords, which is really funny. There's a petition, they managed more than 100,000 signatures already, trying to combat this. Good luck with that. It's the only thing I can tell you, good luck. I actually do hope you get lucky with it. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Then we also have... God, UK, why? From the Daily Record, Brits could be banned from going on holiday is carbon passports introduced. A new report has suggested the Brits could be banned from going on holiday. Carbon passports are introducing a bid to slow down climate change. If you want to actually combat climate change, talk to China, talk to India, talk to Southeast Asia. Those are the main polluters in this god-forsaken planet. Not fucking Europe. Oh, the passport, the license, the pass. I do remember. I was there. I was looking. You cannot tell me that it didn't happen because I do remember. I was there. I was looking. I've been looking for a long time. During the times of the coup. Some countries, they want to implement some sort of green pass. I think Italy was one of them. If you want to go outside during the dreaded pandemic, you have to show proof of vaccination to the waiting staff, so they would allow you in. And people were like, look, showing your ID is one thing, right? Checking ages and all that. Sure, that's fair. Why do I have to show sensible medical information to a stupid kid, because most waiting individuals are just stupid kids. I'm not saying that is wrong, but they don't have the qualifications to manage that kind of information. Oh look, the slippery slope, the thing that told you never happens, keeps happening. Person is responsible for a significant part of climate change. Sure thing, pal. Sure thing. Carbon passports could be introduced to limit the frequency of foreign holidays for UK residents as part of efforts to combat climate change. I'm gonna say this, climate change is a fucking hoax. It has been a hoax since the fucking beginning. Tourism is a significant contributor to climate change, accounting for approximately 1/10 of the greenhouse gas emissions driving the crisis. It's a shame. It's a shame that I haven't shown that article before. I didn't find the article in English, sadly. It was in a different language. Did you know that's a fucking lie? And that's something I always consider. Let me take a sip of my water here. I'm getting parched. Let me tell you a short story about China. You know China, right? China known as the big polluter and all that. I just mentioned that, even. Did you know that recently they've been getting greener and greener with renewable energy and whatnot? That's pretty cool. But they're actually polluting less and less, so the atmosphere is actually more clean. You know what happened with that? And this is not a trust me, bro. You can look it up. You can look it up. It's actually making this quote-unquote climate change more pronounced. Do you know why? And it makes obvious sense. Back then, oh, way back then, I remember, oh, greenhouse gases, that's so dangerous. They would tell you, yeah, because the solar rays would go through the atmosphere, they would bounce off the earth, and they would get trapped thanks to those gases. You know what also happens? A bunch of those rays cannot penetrate the gases from the other side anyway. So, China going green is actually making this supposed climate change more pronounced. Also, if you look back at history, you will see this is actually kind of a quad point of the story. It's not even that hot, and it's really obvious, right? It's really obvious. And that might be just looking at the wrong thing, but oh, the Roman Empire. We all remember the Roman Empire, right? About 2,000 years ago. The thing with the Roman Empire is and even the Greeks, right? Sure, they lived around the Mediterranean and all that, and that's not necessarily a really cold place, not as cold as Scandinavian countries, Germany and all that. But they were always being shown using robes all year round. Good luck using those robes with freezing temperatures, and that can happen in some of these places nowadays. So clearly, temperature was actually higher all around 2,000 years ago. Other example of this, how do you think the fucking Celts? Yeah, they didn't really wear shirts all that much. Not 2,000 years ago. After that, the successive tribes and all that, maybe, especially during the winter. But yeah, they were just running around half naked, half naked. I think even the Germans to some extent, right? I have... now that's getting me, I'm lacking some information. On the climate change. I don't remember when this was called the global warming. And then, oh wow, but in some places we're reaching big cold temperatures. How did that happen? Some years ago, when the Niagara Falls ended up freezing over, that was kind of crazy. Minus 40, holy shit. Fahrenheit or Celsius, it doesn't matter, it's the same. Minus 40 is just minus 40. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, this is just the power up, as usual. Let's read this anyway, right? Bart Bennett Cook. You are not cooking here, Russ. A visiting lecturer at the University of Westminster stated the negative impacts of tourism and... Yeah, tell me about that. On the environment have become so severe that some are suggesting drastic changes to our travel habits are inevitable. How about now? How about now? Because it's really funny. We have all of these elites. Oh, we're fighting climate change. Flying around the private jets. Yeah, sure thing. That's not polluting anything or anything like that, right? Come on. Come on, dude. How stupid do you think I am? A report from 2023 that analyzes the future of sustainable travel. Reporter Intrepid Travel proposed that carbon passports will soon become a reality if the tourism industry helps to survive. You keep taxing them even though you're not actually polluting all that much. Funny. Explain that the concept of a carbon passport involves assigning each traveler a yearly carbon allowance that they cannot exceed. A similar idea, known as personal carbon trading, was debated in the House of Commons in 2008. If we go back to late 2023, even though it's an article I only read on stream, early 2024, we were talking about this already. Having some sort of I don't remember how they called it. It was not just digital ID, it was not just social score. They mentioned it would be tied to carbon production, which is fucking hilarious to me. The average annual carbon footprint for a person in the UK is 11.7 tons, or 5 times the figure recommended by the Paris Agreement to keep global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees. But temperature changes normally, because it has been changing all throughout history, not just since the Industrial Revolution. So get your head out of your fucking ass. The global average is closer to 4 tons and needs to drop to under 2 tons by 2050 to stand a chance of a slowing climate change. You cannot stop climate change. You cannot reach zero emissions because you're alive. But that's what they want. And in the pursuit of that, they will strip you of every single fucking right you have. I'm not Alex Jones, but I've been talking about this for a long time now. It's not surprising. You will live in the pod. You will live in the 15 minutes just urban cities. You will own nothing. And you will be happy. Well, fuck you. How about now? You're gonna tell me what to do. I hope you believe that story, because it is reality. We're going through that, and that's not good. If your carbon allowance was 2 tons, then 2 return flights from London to New York would disable all of it, reports Devon Live. That doesn't make any sense. There's no way you produce that amount of carbon from a single flight that is shared between a bunch of people. That makes no fucking sense. I just don't believe you. Also, for the conversation that reported by Intrepid Travel predicts the implementation of carbon passports by 2040. Every single day, I praise the Lord for not being British. I'm sorry, British people. Well, your country is fucked. Don't at me. At your politicians. Fix your shit. I too need to fix my own shit. He further stated, between 2013 and 2018, the amount of CO2 emitted by commercial aircrafts worldwide increased by 32%. Improvements in fuel efficiency are slowly reducing per passenger emissions. The research from 2014 found that whatever the industry's effort to reduce its carbon emissions, they will be outweighed by the growth in air traffic. For emission reductions to have any meaningful effect, ticket prices will have to rise by 1.4% each year, discouraging some people from flying. However, in reality, ticket prices are falling. Classic. It's a tax, so it's only banned if you're a broke ass bitch. If you have money, you don't give a fuck. If you have money, you have your private jet, you cannot tell you what to do. Hilarious. Several European countries are starting to implement measures to curb air travel. In Belgium, passengers on short-haul flights of their aircrafts are now subject to higher taxes. Not a big fan of the government. Not a big fan of the government. Fucking taxes because you want to travel. It only affects you if you're a broke ass bitch. And they're making you poorer and poorer every single day. I'm not crazy. They're saying it themselves. France has prohibited short-haul domestic flights, where the same journey can be completed by train in 2.5 hours or less, with more regulations expected to be introduced in other major European countries in the near future. Rouse pointed out, it's not just air travel that's being criticized. I bet it isn't. Investigation by the European Federation for Transport and Environment in 2023 found that cruise ships pump 4 times as many sulfuric gases, which are prone to cause acid rain and several respiratory conditions, into the atmosphere than all of Europe's 291 million cars combined. Statistics like this have forced European destinations to take action against the cruise industry. I've seen what they're trying to do. Saw that weeks ago. I don't have it on tap to show. I've seen what they're trying to do to fix these for boats. They're going to rediscover sailboats. What a time to be alive! But only for you, because you're broke as bitch. The actual fancy people with money, they can do whatever they want, because they're your lords and masters. Amsterdam has prohibited cruise ships from docking in the city center. In Venice, and Venice has banned large cruise ships from entering the city's waters. It was stated, Intrepid Travel's report also highlights that not only how we travel, but where we travel will soon be impacted by climate change. Fuck you, bitch! You cannot tell me what to do. Falling temperatures will probably diminish the allure of traditional beach destinations, prompting European tourists to search for cooler destinations such as Belgium, Slovenia, and Poland for their summer holidays. Several travel agencies reported seeing noticeable increased holiday bookings to cooler European destinations such as Scandinavia, Ireland, and the UK during 2023's peak summer travel months. Maybe because it was also fucking cheaper, my guy. If everybody is going to Italy, if everybody is going to Greece, if everybody is going to Spain, if everybody is going to perhaps even France, not a lot of people are gonna be in Scandinavia. And I'm like, well, chill place to be, cool place to be, interesting culture, and it's also cheap. Well, what are we waiting for? It's not because of temperature. Temperature's still the same in those places. I do remember. I think he showed that last year when it happened. Oh, look at these temperatures in Germany. Oh my god, they're so high. It's almost black in the weather map. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, higher temperatures, smoother colors. Whoa, how did that happen? Well, I couldn't tell you. Manipulation, maybe? Surely not. Do you think the government is gonna lie to you? Keep telling yourself that. Part of the solution may be change our travel habits, look inevitable. Destinations across the globe, from Barcelona to the Italian Riviera, and even Mount Everest, already calling for limits on tourist numbers as they struggle to cope with crowds and pollution. Oh wow, just literally what it said. Crowds. Pollution is just a fucking cope. It's the fucking crowds. Why would I want to go to Japan, even though I think it's pretty cool, during Hanabi, flower viewing? That's a lot of people there, it's gonna be so expensive, it's gonna be so packed. Hanabi's cool, but I don't know, I'd rather go during, I don't know, September maybe, October, it's probably cheaper. A friend of mine, he went with school and whatnot. They went, it was almost Hanabi, it was early February I think. So yeah, you shouldn't go during holiday season because everybody's going in holiday season. Therefore, you have a lot of people, and it's really expensive. How is that something new? Well, it's not. Only makers should prepare to change their travel habits now before this change forces on them. Can we? No, it doesn't work. Let's see what this guy says. City for different people has different attractions. After all, what is it? Greenery, pollutant. It's a product of every living creature's breathing. It's a product of all plant respiration. It's essential for plant life and photosynthesis. It's a product of all industrial burning. It's a product of thriving. Yes, and that is absolutely fucking hilarious to me. Because, oh no, not the CO2, man. The CO2 is so dangerous. What are you talking about? Dude, plants scrape that fucking shit. If you look at maps of greenery in different countries, you will see that, for example, Europe, I haven't seen maps for the USA, but for example, Europe is much more green today than 10 or 20 years ago. That CO2, oh, plants love that shit, man. And do you know what plants do? They give you money? No. They give you Wi-Fi? No. They give you something really useless called oxygen. Well, that's a shame. Also, I've seen that some places want to take out the trees from urban areas. Do you know what trees give you? Shadow. Shadow is pretty cool. I like strolling through shadows when it's scorching out. I don't want to go out, but if I need to go out, I'd rather be on the shadows. Tree shadow is usually kind of fresh. But no, that's not allowed. That's not good. That's apparently some sort of problem. Sure thing, pal. Come on, come on. We knew this in elementary school. Come on, man. Fucking hilarious. Just fucking hilarious in the worst way possible. Can't believe it. And when I tell people that they should be careful with the sensible information they give out on the internet, I truly mean it. This is cathartic at best. Because I know I talked about this just the other day during the Yakuza playthrough. Just don't give your information willy-nilly, because this shit can happen. Have you heard about the T-app? I have. I can leak 13,000 user photos and IDs from the T-app, designed as a women's safe space. The overall app requires the new users to take selfies, which it says it delivers after a review. No, not only that doesn't happen, it's not even a hacking. It's just a public domain that you can access with a browser. Yes, they look how you expect them to look. Hackers have reached the T-app. It's not even a hacking, it's not even a breach. Which recently went viral as the place for women to safely talk about men. It's doxing and it's bitching. And tens of thousands of women's selfies and photo ideas have now seemingly been linked online. Spokesperson confirmed the hack Friday afternoon. The company estimates that 70,000 images, including 13,000 verification photos and images of government IDs, were accessed. There's not even any source of encrypting here. Wow. And I thought my class projects were scuffed back in the day? Absolutely not. This is designed to function as a virtual whisperer network for women, allowing them to upload photos of men and search for them by name. Users can leave comments describing specific men as red flag or green flag, and share other information about them. And then some guys made the opposite, an app for men. Review bombed. Oh wow, this is so misogynistic, this is so evil! Yeah, you think? You think? Perhaps you and I are not so different after all. It's recently gained such popularity that it became the top 3 app in the Apple App Store this week. The app claimed Thursday to have recently gained nearly 1 million new sign-ups. Signing up for T requires users to take selfies, which the app says are deleted after review, to prove they are women. Oh guys, come on, why are you like this? 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 Hey, there's the image! Why did you like this? Surely they're not lying to you! Surely not. All users who get accepted are promised anonymity outside of the usernames they choose. Taking screenshots of what's in the app is also blocked. Well, there's always a way to do things, you know? Especially if you use in emulator, you can just use screenshots from your PC. Funny enough. You can also not necessarily emulate, but show and even control your phone from your PC. In the system I used, you need to be connected. If you have some sort of Bluetooth or something like that, that can be done, I bet. So, there's always a caveat, because I actually seen screenshots from the app. The hacker accessed the database from more than 2 years ago, the spokesperson said, adding that this data was originally stored in compliance with law enforcement requirements related to cyberbullying prevention. What a strange thing to say! The spokesperson said that the company has hired third-party cybersecurity experts and is working around the clock to secure our systems. It's not the system, it's just the URL. It's really easy. What are you guys doing? Protecting your users' privacy and data is our highest priority. Bullshit. This is taking every necessary step to ensure the security of our platform and prevent further exposure, the spokesperson said. The app has entered some man, this man getting angry about them women's. Of course. And proved the thread Thursday evening on the right-wing troll message board 4chan. Right-wing, by the way. Isn't 4chan like pretty lame and gay nowadays? In which users called for a hack and leak campaign. The company became aware of the incident, which was first reported by 404 Media early Friday, the spokesperson said. A 4chan user posted a link Friday morning, allegedly allowing people to download the database of stolen images. They're not stolen, they're just public. You're this bad at security. In terms of alleged victims' identification photos, have been posted on 4chan and Twitter. NBC News has not verified the authenticity of the photos or their provenance. I think it said of. On Google Maps, users have created a map that purports to show the location of the users that were affected by the hack. But there are no names attached to the coordinates posted. I didn't have it here. Yes, it's the USA, mostly. The app's creator, Sean Cook, I suppose, said on his website that he was inspired after he watched his mother's terrifying experience with online dating. And yeah, online dating is trash. Welcome to the internet. Including being catfish and lonely dating men with criminal records. Just pick better, Lamau. That's what Matt Walsh says. He's not wrong, I'm sorry. It sucks. It's really sucky, but I don't know, just pick better, Lamau. Lamau. And the users can run background checks, search for criminal histories, and reverse search photos to check whether a man is catfishing. Well, if you believe what the other women say. The app also claims to donate 10% of its profits to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Helen confirmed to NBC News that the company is a donor. Gotta be a lot of money if the app is free, right? Gotta be just ads. Some men online have spread in online posts that they fear being misrepresented or dogged on the platform. Others, including some users of the app, have raised concerns that the app could lead to harmful cyberbullying and related to actual safety concerns. Yeah, you think? And not that this has been happening for years already, but sure. A few online forums may have floated the idea of creating their own main-only version of the app as payback for women's use of tea. One such app called T-Born, wow, like the Dragonborn, will ignite a backlash after the creator called users out for posting revenge porn. Come on guys, that's not what you're supposed to do, that's actually a crime. The app is now removed from the App Store, shame. I think there was another one called Coffee or something like that. The app said in an Instagram story that new sign-ups have surpassed 2 million in the past few days. Many have posted on the app's Instagram page said they remain on the app's wait list. By Friday, several commenters had also started expressing concerns about their data privacy in the wake of the hacking news. Not actually hacking. I think it's fair if you want to show the images online and whatnot. It's not an actual hacking, I'm afraid. So, well, sounds like a new problem. Surely a skill issue here. Oh man. What else do they have here? Okay, how about we finish for today with a couple of things about games? We have this one first. Stop killing games, especially in complaints in the EU. They use this nonsense logic to accuse the movement's founder of failing to disclose financial contributions never made. It's not paranoia if they really are out to get you. What a strange thing to say! I mean, to accuse the guy of. That's really strange. I think that's how any of this works. It's really weird. I only took a gather of this, I haven't read the article yet. Yesterday, after a prolonged series of hurdles and setbacks, the Stop Killing Games movement has amassed 1.4 million signatures for its European Citizens Initiative. If at least 1 million of those signatures are validated, the European Commission will have to consider the initiative's goal of requiring game publishers looking to end support for a game to modify or patch the game, so they can run on customer systems with no further support from the company being necessary. So if you say this way, they must stop bitching about, but we cannot have the servers. It's not about the servers. It's not about the servers. Today, the movement has already made another attempt at roadblock. Color me surprised. In a YouTube video published this morning, Stop Killing Games founder Ross Scott said that the European Citizens Initiative petition is now facing an unanimous complaint filed with the EU. The complaint accuses the initiative of systemic concealment of major contribution, violating EU stipulations requiring citizens to report any sponsored contributors over 500 euros. That's a little bit strange. I don't think that happened. If the initiative failed to disclose any such funding, that would be bad. However, the complaint argues that the initiative didn't receive any monetary contribution. I've never seen this guy talk about money or anything. There's no way to donate, as far as I know. Feels really strange. Rather claims Scott simply volunteered too much of his own time to promote the movement. Which, if you have decided that words no longer meaning anything, is basically the same thing. Yep. Pretty much. The complaint cites PC Gamer's interview with Scott from June, in which he said there have been many weeks in the campaign I've been working 12 to 14 hours a day to keep things moving to get signatures. The professional work, the complaint argues, amounts to 63,000 to 147,000 in professional contribution if you charge the market rate of 50 to 75 euros an hour. But that's not actual money. You cannot sue the guy for potential money because the guy did it for free. If the guy did it for free, you cannot say, well, that has an obvious monetary value because I decided so. No. The value it has is on the work he's done for free. It's not money. What? Holy shit, that's crazy. The company's logic is, if you allow the phrasing, some goof troop nonsense. If it weren't, I would be suing Viz Media for unpaid promotional wages after all the hours I forced my opponents to listen to me talk about Hunter x Hunter. That's a good example. Doesn't how the EU's disclosure requirements work. As announced in the video, the EU Citizens Initiative rules say that individuals providing non-financial support, such as volunteering, are not considered sponsors on the ECI regulation and do not need to be reported. It's literally considered already. That's crazy. Scott said that because he's a US citizen, the initiative's organizers had literally asked EU representatives if it was okay for me to assist them in the capacity I had been in the spring of 2024, just to make sure everything was above board. The organizers, Scott said, were told it was fine. It's not paranoia if they really are out to get you, Scott said. Yeah, holy shit, that's crazy. The complaint isn't the first resistance the petition has encountered, and it likely will be the last. Earlier this month, Game Publishing Trade Association, Video Games Europe, said initiative proposals would curtail developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create, It's not difficult to do, man. It's not difficult. If the petition hits the commission after its petition deadline on July 31st, we can expect to see even more exciting rhetoric maneuvers. I can't wait. I can't wait. Now had the complaint claims Ross also isn't an EU citizen. He lives in Poland, by the way. That's what I thought. I mean, Ross Scott is a really English name, but I don't know where he's from. They mentioned him being from the US, so no idea. LOL, most likely filed by users or some other desperate AAA company. Probably. The anonymous complaint was really filed by Pirate Software. Oh man, now that's a rat. That's a way possible rat. I don't think that's the case, but it would be hilarious if true. Holy shit, man, what the fuck? That's hilarious. But speaking of Ubisoft, they never cease to amaze me, because truly, how stupid can you be? Well, I don't think it's a case of being stupid, I think it's a case of being extremely evil. From Tech for Gamers, it's all good, guys. Ubisoft CEO blames organized campaigns of criticism against its games. It's not organized campaigns, it's that you have been releasing way too many games that are way too trash for way too long. Players are very sensitive to the quality and content of games. Yeah, you think? Yeah, no wonder. No wonder. Failure. Shame. Ubisoft has been in center of criticism and controversy for a few years now, mainly because it no longer caters to its audience. Yeah, that's the main issue. The company has been focusing on things that it shouldn't. As evidence with its current state, we've talked about Ubisoft so long, I don't need to explain further, right? Andy asked that the AC Shadows attracted a lot of hate from both the fandom, but the company was firm in its decision to add him. And you can see how it went for Ubisoft. Guys, they just reached 5 million players. How many sales? No, really, how many sales? Just asking, just curious. How many sales? None of them? Sad to see, depressing, even. The hate isn't limited to just Assassin's Creed Shadows, as almost every single game the company has released for the past few years has been below average. Then they just announced they were cancelling that Star Wars Outlaws sequel, I think? There are rumors at least, I've seen that one. Instead of admitting to that, the CEO only blames the organized campaigns of criticism against those games. Well, if the games were good, you wouldn't be in this problem, would you? Why it matters? Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has been perceived as arrogant for quite a while now, as he previously blamed gamers for the failure of Star Wars Outlaws. Sure, keep blaming the customers, let's see what happens. Hilarious. In the recent investors' presentation, the CEO of Ubisoft revealed that the hatred for the company and its products apparently comes from an organized group. Yes, it's called former fans. Ubisoft is exposed to really soft damage to its reputation, resulting from online bashing, and is massive, sometimes virulent and organized campaigns of criticism against its products, teams, or public statements. You can only blame yourself, to be fair. The company fails to admit its mistakes and continues to blame other people for the hate it receives. There's no way a game from a particular publisher can fail back-to-back if it focuses on its mistakes and caters to its actual audience, rather than one that doesn't represent the majority or that it doesn't actually exist. Video on that soon, I promise. I'm actually working on it. It is further said that these campaigns are due to technical issues affecting games or statements perceived as controversial by certain people. No, they're not just perceived. You're being inflammatory because you're way too proud. Well, you cannot tell me this trash and expect it to be, so delicious. Yes, please. Let me pay you $110. Holy, that's a lot of money for this. Now, it is true that Ubisoft receives hate more than any other gaming company. It always fails to figure out the main problem and solve it. They get the most amount of hate because they deserve it. It's quite an achievement. there are going to be certain problems in a game. The fandom is going to criticize it. The developer can only improve that problem instead of blaming the players for being overly sensitive to the quality of games. Is it us? Is it me that are making a bad game? No. It's the kids that are wrong. Well, they're not kids anymore. Crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, they deserve to crash and burn. Truly. Truly. Oh man, still not replies from retro achievements. That's a shame. That's a shame. What a fuck ass wig, huh? What a fuck ass wig. I still have a couple of things to go through, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be for another day. My voice is collapsing here. I'm truly sorry. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. This is not a wind blade, but I'm not ready. Oh man, what the hell? Well. It's gonna be everything for me today. So I guess it's time for me to repeat plan for next week. I don't think I'm feeling the goal of randoms and whatnot. So I do believe we're gonna be starting Final Fantasy VI on Monday. It's gonna be interesting. Let's try to take it easy. Can't use guides or anything if I can avoid it. But we might use a little bit of magic, right? Some save states here and there. I think it's rare. More Power World on Wednesday. I need to do more grinding still. But now I understand how breeding works. It's a little bit more limited than I expected. I can only inherit 2 traits from each parent, so we can actually only get by inheritance 4 traits, which is a little bit of a problem. I will need to use the operation table to get everything I need, I'm pretty sure. That's not exciting. I'm gonna need to do strange things to get that amount of money. And we will probably be finishing Yakuza Kiwami 2 on Thursday. That should be more than enough, I believe. Oh man, I'm tired, but I will need to edit some stuff later. That's gonna be great. Ended up recording stuff yesterday. I think it's mostly okay. I think I'm mostly happy with what I have, but I need to go into the editing mines for a little bit. So potentially video out next week, which is yay, pretty cool. Now I can start working other stuff too. I have a couple of pretty interesting ideas, I think. To me they're really obvious, but we need to talk about it. I think there are a couple of really important topics. Anyway, I'm giving out here. Thank you for coming. Hope you had some fun, I guess. I hope it was informative more than anything else. And I will see you all on Monday with Final Fantasy VI. Gonna be crazy. Until then, you know the rules. Keep your eyes peeled and take care.